Hey everybody, welcome back to Spider Sound Off. This is Tom.
And this is Porter.
We are here at episode 35.
Can you believe we've done 35 of these? That's pretty incredible, actually.
And I can't believe, well, I wonder if there's anyone besides us who has listened to all 35.
I think we might have a few.
If anyone has, the data doesn't really give us individual data. If you have, thank you very much. You might need another hobby.
Thanks. No. Our listeners are so important, man. We love them. And here's the thing. Thank you guys for those folks who came up to us at the ladies' game yesterday and said hi. We really appreciate talking to all of the listeners. That kind of gets us. It's a benefit that I really wasn't expecting to be so important to me, but it is. So I really enjoy having the listeners come.
Well, if you haven't learned this already over our 34 episodes, Porter spent his life in sales, so he needs that affirmation.
I do. I need positive reinforcement.
That's kind of part of what made him successful, and also drives me crazy sometimes. But I'm the finance accountant guy, so I'm more the grumpy. Show me the numbers.
Whenever I had to give my numbers to my CFO, I kind of rehash that every Spider Sound Off episode.
That's right. Okay, so we're going to start off and talk about, and it's great to have another episode. We can talk about wins.
Man,
both teams.
Has New York not been good to us?
Yeah, that's
right.
4
straight wins against New York opponents. We are undefeated in 2026 still.
Yes, and
that's huge.
Yep, so Richmond owns New York.
Yes, we do.
We'll start talking about the men's big victory at St. Bonaventure, 89-80. It's the first time we won there since 2015.
That was a impressive win. That's our second best win of the year behind Belmont.
Yeah. And we don't play there every year, so I think we had a 6-game losing streak at St. Bonaventure, and we pretty much led the entire game. I think in the first 2 minutes there were a couple lead changes, and then we led the entire game. Not that it was a blowout. I mean, there was always we always had to keep playing hard because they were ready to come back on us if we didn't. But we played great, and you could tell from some of the post-game videos, that team was pretty happy after getting on the road and winning their second game in a row.
First thing I'll say is to the coaching staff, that was, I think, one of your best coaching performances of the year. You guys had this team prepared to play. I thought we were the better team. You had the better scout. Whoever did the scout, mad props to you. That was awesome. Great game plan. It feels like the team might have even bonded a little bit on the road trip in New York. The team just seemed to be more and more playing for each other. So the first thing is to tip our hats to the coaches.
Here's a question. Should we rest Johnson the entire first half and then just have him be 100% fresh for the second? 2 games in a row. He
24 points in the second half of this game.
Yeah, and he had 20 the game before. And obviously
know.
We need Johnson in the first half too because he can really run the offense well. But it is funny to watch him just explode 2 games in a row in the
second half. And I give him credit. He played a great game. In the first half, I thought there were a lot of individual plays that led to an overall great team effort. I was just kind of going through my notes. Rumaglu had a fiery block. I thought, early on, Tanner looked really good. He had a sweet 3, followed up with a quick 2. Yep. Maybe his best overall half this year, the first half of that game. Lopez, let's talk about Lopez for a second. Lopez is just a massive offensive weapon for this team. I mean, he scores at all 3 levels. He takes you to the hoop. He has a mid-range game. He can hit the 3. He's now number 8 overall in the Atlantic 10 in offensive performance rating, according to Bartorvik. Only Spider in the top 10. By the way, St. Louis has 4 of the top 10 players in offensive rating on Bartorvik.
The one thing I'll say, too, with AJ, it's it seems him and Johnston work so well together. And they obviously just started playing in, June. They were, one was West Coast, one was Upper East Coast. But those two together on the court, they're really good together.
Yeah, it might be a good time to just delve into a couple changes in the advanced stats that I was going to tell you about today. Just a few seconds on it. So,
did anyone get taller?
we are still
keep going. Sorry, go ahead.
So anyway, we are looking at a couple different sites. We look at Evan Maya, we look at Bartorvik, we look at Ken Palm, just to kind of get a sense for what the advanced stats are telling us.
We being Porter.
We being me, right? So according to Bartorvik, the best player in overall efficiency on the entire team is AJ Lopez with a 3.0 PRPG exclamation point. That's the replacement player metric we give for the ladies a lot. Number 2 is Will Johnston. So to back up what you just said, 1 and 2, according to Bart Torvik, are those guys. Number 3, Aiden Argabright. If you go to Evan Maya, which looks at overall offensive deficiency, and efficiency is defined by what's the game scenario, who are they playing against in that moment, the quality of the player they're playing against, and what happens in those minutes that they're in. Daughtry is number 1. So kind of to go back to the coaches saying we have even kind of a distribution of talent, Daughtry's number 1. Mike Walls has moved to number 2. We'll talk about Walls here in a minute. Overall efficiency, and Argabright's number 3 on that list. So, I mean, just interesting roster. Like, there are a lot of ingredients, and if we can make it all come together at tournament time, we could be, like we've been saying, we're an interesting team to watch. We can make some noise. And
I think if you go back and listen to our first practice episode, maybe it was the second one, I think you'll hear me making some comment about, like, I can just see Johnston taking the ball and then finding AJ on a fast break and him finishing. Because those guys, I like, those two are great. I mean, they've become, and again, the season still has a lot of games to be played, so we'll have continued change. This team will continue to evolve, but those two are clearly kind of our top 2 consistent weapons. Scorers.
Yes, agreed.
Daughtry had a rough night at St. Bonaventure, and that's part of the beauty of this team right now is you can have someone have a rough night and it doesn't kind of shake the foundation. Kind of, you've got enough players who can come in. He had a great day at Fordham, so he's going to turn one night off into a great night at home this weekend, I'm sure. But he was the one player who didn't kind of live up to maybe that efficiency rating.
Yeah, he only played 12 minutes. I mean, he was kind of like restricted. I think the matchups were it wasn't the right matchup for him. So I think the coaches wisely, and that goes back to the game plan. I mean, they adjusted the game plan on the fly, and they were going with what was working. And I mean, I give it credit because, like, anytime you have a win that's that convincing, it's just a really impressive win. There's no two ways around it.
And you mentioned Walls. He had 10 rebounds, so that was super great to see.
The interesting thing about Walls, let me give him some props for a second. So, second game in a row, he's played a great game, and he's done it in different ways. The first game, he showed elite 3-point shooting, which really gave us a spark against Fordham. This game really played a strong defensive game, especially keeping Frank Mitchell away from the block. Really good effort to keep Mitchell, subdued. Great rebounding game for him. And there were 2 moves that Walls had. One was a pump fake where he could have taken a 3. Instead, he went around his guy who bought the pump fake and went right to the rim. And another play in the first half where he went right to the rim. It was a fantastic game for Mike Walls. Fantastic game. Aggressive, strong, rebounding effort. Loved it through and through. I give Mike props for that game. I was delighted to see him play a different way with high effectiveness for sure.
Yeah, we've joked a lot about his 3-point shooting versus his rebounding. What's more important? Like, it's great that can do both, and he doesn't have to do both all at once. There'll be some games where we need his outside shot more, and then there'll be games where we need him to get the double-digit rebounds, and he's shown he can do both.
And I think the efficiency ratings are reflecting that. He's now, like I said, number 2 on the team in overall efficiency. So he's moving up as the senior captain. We expect that to happen, and it's great to see him playing at a high level. By the way, overall in Atlantic 10 play right now, conference-only statistics, we are the number 1 ranked offense according to Ken Pom in the Atlantic 10. So that's exciting too. So you're seeing some really cool stuff. Defense, not so much. We got that George Washington thing still lingering in the stats, but offense, we're showing a very, very accomplished and good offense in the Atlantic 10.
So if I looked it up correct, I think we're 109 now in the net.
Mm-hmm. By the way, Bart Torvik has us with a 4% chance of winning the A10 tournament. That's actually not great, but it's still much higher than it was.
Yeah, it was 1%.
Yeah,
the last time
we're moving in the right direction with each of these impressive performances. Beating St. Bonaventure on the road is a very good result, and it's the kind of result that will build confidence, and it's the kind of result that's I think is going to lead to this team, building and doing even better things.
Yeah, and we'll preview kind of the St. Joe's game a bit later, but we have 2 home games in a row, St. Joe's and then LaSalle, and those are kind of the bottom teams, certainly bottom half teams in the A10 right now. So those are kind of home games we got to win, and then the road trip gets tough.
I take random notes on my phone when I'm watching these games, and I like to just kind of like remind myself when I want to say something. A couple things I want to call out. First of all, Tyne had a big three at the 1:43 mark in the first half that stopped 2 consecutive three-pointers, really cut the momentum St. Bonaventure was threatening to carry into the halftime, so I give Tyne props for that. The block call against Jalen Robinson, who stepped in front of the freight train that is Mitchell, right? I mean, literally one of the worst calls I've seen all year. And shame on the ref for making it, and shame on the announcer on whatever broadcast I was watching for trying to defend it. You know, it was a terrible call. Robinson had his feet set. Robinson carried the brunt of the 280-pound collision coming into him, and just a bad call. So I'm going to throw that out there. I would say one other thing: our bench 28-9 outscored them. We had 85 minutes played by our bench to 38 for theirs. All 5 starters had a steal. Just again, overall, really good effort. Great job by the players. Great job by the coaches. Super excited for the team.
Yeah, I mean, 2 road wins in a row. We've got 6 more road games to go, but
get your attention.
Starting off on the right foot
with a positive, definitely a positive January.
Before we talk about our other big win against New York, the women's home win against Fordham, just a little bit of a men's A10 update. We talked about that big game that was happening downtown here in Richmond. With St. Louis visiting VCU, a place where they haven't won before. St. Louis did win. They're now 14-1, and it was a close game, but not super close.
St. Louis is good.
St. Louis is good. So they're 33 Bardovic right now. I was looking at our schedule. So VCU is on the Bardovic is 64, and GW is 69. We play them all on the road later this month. Oof. So I mentioned we have those 2 home games coming up. Then 3 out of 4 games will be on the road, including St. Louis, VCU, and GW. And GW, obviously, we already played at home. So we've got a couple games coming up that hopefully continue our building our confidence and getting our rotations kind of in the right spot. And everyone, being able to do a little bit more. Like we said, Wall's probably in one of those games has 10 rebounds and another hit some threes. But get this thing continue to roll so when we go on the road, we have a chance of winning some of those super tough road games.
I mean, like whether or not you are super excited about 109 or 107 or whatever the number is in the rankings, you got to admit this men's team is fun to watch. Yeah. They are exciting to watch. A different player seems to emerge every game. And it's kind of must-see TV.
Yeah, and we'll see how when we'll preview all those road games probably in a week from now because they'll be much closer. But those are potentially 3 quad 1 games.
Quad 1.
Having 3 of those out of 4 games and all A10 games. I don't know if that's kind of ever happened to us before. But anyway, before we talk about the women's, I do want to preview. We're going to do a little experimenting here with you guys. My wife found the Terry's chocolate orange.
That was that Orlando tournament the men played in.
Terry's chocolate.
We didn't know what it was. But you told
the
me
men team played in Orlando.
Holy
so as Porter starts talking about the Fordham game, I'm going to crack this thing open and try one of these orange slices, and then I'm going to force one on Porter later.
That looks.
I'll chew off microphone, but if you're watching this on YouTube, I'll try to show some of this.
I don't know if I want your fingers on my chocolate. So let me make sure I touch my chocolate.
See, it's just a little slice.
Okay,
see?
Yep.
Get a little slice of this
chocolate.
orange. But go ahead.
I'll hit that later.
Tell us about Fordham.
So you and I were both there last night in the Robins Center. Great effort. So a couple things. Fordham was without Alexis Black. I didn't get the story as to why she didn't play. Was it a coach's decision? Was it an injury? I have no idea, but that's their best player. Fordham came out with an unusually high amount of energy. Not unusually, I haven't seen them play a ton this year, but like they were as active as any team we've seen play this year. They were aggressive. It's a very, very physical game. I didn't think the refs did a bad job in the game, but with physical games, what you find is if they let them play, which I thought there was a lot of letting them play yesterday, what happens is I think it benefits the team that has less talent. And I think, letting them play benefited Fordham yesterday. That's the way I would describe it.
I would say, and this is not a criticism, by the way, that you're going to see me if you're watching my video have another one of these chocolate slices. They're pretty darn good. But I will say that overall, my life of watching U of R basketball and watching a lot more men's games than women's, so I can't speak to kind of pre-Aaron Roussel coaching side. I would say in most cases, if the refs let the players play, it's to Richmond's disadvantage.
Yes.
I don't think we are typically the physical, rough and tough team. So actually, as a fan, I love it when they let them play and the game's not getting stopped by whistles all over the
Agree
place.
with that,
But
yeah.
I think usually that doesn't help us.
Right. I think that's kind of the way it felt watching that game. Fordham was up 16-14 after the first quarter. That kind of caught us off guard. There was a chaotic last couple of minutes in Q1, which led to that deficit.
And a lot of early turnovers.
Yeah, 2 turnovers right to start the game. And in the second quarter,
can I just so it was Coach. I saw some of the post game the coach talking about it, and he pretty much said like, we've got a problem right now with early game turnovers that we need to fix.
Okay.
So I think he's seen it enough. He kind of knows that's an issue. It's not that they're not working on it. It's just whatever they're working on, it hasn't happened in the game yet. So he knows that that's kind of an area that they have to improve. Obviously, we got aspirations of more than just having a good record. So hopefully we see some of that improvement over the next month.
Here are the notes I took for the second quarter. We had a good run in the second quarter. Dewey got hot from 3 again. She's starting to really emerge as a weapon for us from behind the line. I wrote that I was impressed with Wainwright's defense. You and I were pretty close to watching her. She was on our side of the court, and I mean, she's long, she's athletic, she's fast when she needs to be, and she is that kind of Katie Hill-like defender, I think, that's going to cause problems in the future for teams. So I give her props. I'm going to give you a hot take, and maybe it's not that much of a hot take, but I'm going to say Wainwright starts for this team next year. I think she's a starter just from her length on the perimeter. I think she'll be a defensive starter for us. I think overall, the second quarter was a good quarter. We had 3 players score. They took, as you told me during the game, 22 of our 27 shots.
Yeah, only 3 players scored in the first half, all in double figures.
Yes.
So they all scored great, but
yes.
It was kind of an odd.
It wasn't
just an odd outcome.
Yeah, and it was went into halftime with a lead, but closer than I think we were expecting it to be, especially given that their best player wasn't in the game.
Yeah.
But again, hats off to Fordham, man. They played a really good physical, aggressive game. The whole game, it felt a little bit like that Alabama A&M game, like they just were trying to muscle us up.
Yep.
The whole game. Starting the third, we had a brilliant 10-0 run, and that really changed the dynamic of the game. The third quarter, I thought, was highlighted by the Alicia Newell steal, where she stole the inbound pass, and as she's jumping out of bounds with the ball, she kind of blindly heaves the ball over her head back towards the middle of the court, realizing there were 2 girls around her on the other team, which means the odds were 4-3 in our favor that one of our girls was going to catch the ball, which is just, again, great heads-up awareness. Rachel did catch it, quickly passed to Maggie for a quick 2 points. I think the reason I obsess about Newell so much on this show is just how dramatically she can she can change the momentum of the game with a swift turnover, swift steal, right? She gets it, boom, you're almost looking ready, not even ready for for the defense to get in their set. Neal has the ball and she's gone the other way for a quick layup.
Yeah, the one thing I will say, and this is the compliment. It's gonna, I guess, a backhanded compliment. Like, she is so important to us because of everything you just said. I would assess that she is average to below average in the read and react offensive scheme that we have. And so I say that because she's only been getting a lot of minutes for 18 games,
17 games, yeah.
A little bit last year. So like she's got lots of room to improve. So we're seeing I don't think in 2 years from now her defense is going to be twice as good as it is now.
Right.
But I think her offense
could be twice as good.
Absolutely. So there's lots of opportunity. There was a part in that game to give her credit where this is where, like, the more we see this, the more we can be an elite team, where she is just a half-court offense. She drove and then kind of stopped and kicked it out to Rachel in the corner for a 3. Like, the more we get that, the better. A lot of times I think I'm used to when she drives, like, she's going to the basket.
Right.
But she's getting better at kind of now the other teams are kind of recognizing that, and she's got to start kicking it out.
That's right.
To open shooters.
A couple things. Newell's now number 2 in the A10 in steal percentage, according to Bart Torvik. She did get injured in that third quarter. Let's hope that injury is minor. We definitely are going to need her against Davidson.
Yeah. Coach wasn't worried about it after the game, but he didn't have all 100% of medical information yet.
Maggie, we were on triple-double watch. You and I were talking about it during the game. 18, 10, and 6, along with 2 blocks. So 4 assists short this time. Rachel, unbelievable game, 27.6 rebounds, 2 steals.
I'll tell you what I love the most about Rachel's game in that particular moment was that she was 5 for 8 from 2 points. So we've had games where she's like 7 for 8 from 3, or she's 5 of 6 from 3, and through foul shots gets 20 points. But this is a game where she was doing a lot inside. She hit threes as well. She had 27 points. only had 10 from 2 in the total. But anyway, it was great to see that her game wasn't just a 3-point game.
Tiara Simon is starting to show, I think, elite vision. She had 3 assists. Some of her passes, like our next level passes, where she sees the cutter, she passes across the top of the defense, hits the cutter. I'm really impressed by her passing. And now she's 3 for her last 4 from 3-point land.
And I do think, too, I mean, it doesn't surprise me, like, you look in hindsight, like, we didn't know what kind of skills she brought to the table. We didn't watch her a lot last year, but you got to get used to this offense and get used to how we're doing things. And she is out of conference schedule, she's certainly
evolving
more
in the offense, absolutely, and she's getting more confident in it, and that's leading to good things for the team. Everyone got in this game. I want to give a shout out to Anisha Scott. She had a really nice assist to Campbell in the second half. And in general, I wrote, Anisha Scott shows off an impressive handle, meaning she's just a good ball handler. And I think that has a lot of value on this team.
Yeah, Coach mentioned in the post game obviously this game got to a point where we could play all those players, but kind of an intent of we've got to get more from our bench as the season goes on. So it's like, how does he do that by giving these younger players more? Porter's going for the
orange chocolate. I'm done with my recap of the Fordham game.
I want to just Porter mentioned it, but a couple of interesting things. So Sam, where the 3-pointer is becoming 2 games in a row, kind of that's a new weapon for us. So I think that could be really exciting. We get kind of that 4th player who can hit threes, which just opens up things more for Maggie and maybe more for Rachel inside, as we saw yesterday. It's interesting too, a little bit of like Walls 2 games ago, like she's been early on that 3-point threat. And so in some ways we'll see it'll be interesting to see how that scouting report changes for the other teams over the next month.
That chocolate's good.
Yeah. So there's going to be again. So we'll see what changes on that. Post game, they had Rachel on to talk, because obviously she had that great game with 27 points. They asked her about Sam and being more of a weapon, and just kind of these are all interesting things. If you've heard it directly, it's more interesting than hearing it from me. But Rachel was like, "Oh, I played with Sam in AAU." So like obviously Sam didn't come to Richmond initially. She transferred here from Illinois. But anyway, it's just kind of interesting how these players kind of knew each other back in their high school days. The one thing that did hurt us, and the coach talked about it, and it's a little bit to Fordham's aggressiveness. At some point, they started pressing us.
Yeah, the press was,
and we had some trouble. So I think that's something also that I think coach talked about that they're going to keep working on. It hasn't typically given us trouble. That was also a point where Newell was hurt, so we had kind of one less person who could help beat the press. But anyway, so something that if you looked at that game and said like, where do we need to work? It's kind of those early turnovers and getting better when someone's really doing that kind of full court pressure on us.
Real quick, just to give you guys an update on some of the ladies' advanced stats, going back to Bartorvik for the PRPG stat, which is the replacement player value. It's kind of one metric that says how valuable they are to the team. Maggie Dugan, still number 1 in the A10, number 3 in the nation. I think Hidalgo and Sarah Strong are ahead of her. Rachel moved up to number 4 in the A10, all A10 first team. So there you go. She's playing like an all A10 first teamer for the course of the season.
Yeah.
Allie jumped from 13 to 10 after that game. And Alicia Newell is now ranked 24 in the A10 in PRPG. Sam Dewey sitting at 26 with a very positive value. So that's kind of like pretty fun to see. You got 5 players in the top 26 in the A10 now, which is kind of right where you want to be as you evolve the season.
Yep. Okay, so in terms of where these teams are going, the women certainly have on paper a bigger test than the men do coming up. We both are home, so the women are home against Davidson on Saturday at 6 p.m. The men are home on Sunday, a noon game, which is going to be on the USA Network. So I think that's why it's a kind of early day and a Sunday game, get nationally televised. But anyway, Porter, you want to give us a little preview of the Davidson team?
Yeah, so the Davidson game, let's talk about it for a second. Very, very, very important game. I don't usually say that when you're 17 games into the season, but this team, our team, needs to start getting some notable wins. We need a quad 1, quad 2 win. This is one of 5 quad 1, quad 2. Actually, all 5 games left are quad 2 games. So a chance for some significant wins. Davidson at home is quad 2. Davidson on the road is quad 2. Davidson on the road could move to quad 1 if they move up aggressively, but right now it's not. We also play Rhode Island at home, which is quad 2, St. Joe's on the road, which is quad 2, and George Mason twice, which are both quad 2. So, or at least one of them is quad 2. So those are our chances for big wins. Okay. Davidson right now is ranked number 52 in the net. We're 48. So a very even game coming in. And so if you want an at-large bid, and you could, this team can easily make the A10 tournament can easily make the NCAA tournament by winning the A10. We have the talent to do that. We probably are going to be one of the favorites to do that. But it's so much nicer to have two different ways to get in the tournament. So I can't stress enough the importance of this game this Saturday. Davidson is coached by Gail Fulks. She is a good coach. She played her ball at Fairleigh Dickinson. She's from the Virginia Beach area originally. Davidson had a very impressive win, 48-36 against St. Joe's in their last game, another top 75 team. They've played a
say that score again.
48-36.
Yeah.
So they held St. Joe's.
Let's hope for our fans' sake that we have a better scoring total than that game. That sounds like an ugly one.
This is the best team Gail Fulks has had at Davidson. So in her career, this is her 6th year. This is the best team. Davidson is led by all A10 all first teamer Charlize Dunn. She's a 6'2" player out of Australia. She kind of looks and feels like Maggie and Rachel feel. Like she's tall, she can take you to the hoop. She's deadly from she's a very good 3-point shooter. So she is a really good player. And so that we're going to have to neutralize Charlize Dunn. I don't think it'll be Newell on her because there's too much of a height differential. So it's probably going to be Rachel that picks her up.
Or Maggie.
Yes, or Maggie. But Maggie's playing a lot inside, so I'm not sure. And Charlize will play outside a lot. It's hard to say, but there's going to be a team assignment to kind of control her. They also have Katie Donovan, who's been playing really, really well this year. Katie Donovan is shooting 49% from 3-point. So, I mean, they've got some really good 3-pointers. 3 kids on that team shooting 46% or higher.
Wow.
So it's going to be a good game, a very tough test. Their top 4 players in efficiency go 6'2", 5'11", 5'11", 5'11", and then their 5th player is 6'3". So this is a tall team. This is going to be like playing us last year. Everybody has length in their well, not everybody. That's an efficiency number. That's not a minutes played number. There are some players that are a little bit smaller that handle the ball, but not as efficient as those folks.
Yep.
So it's going to be a tough test. I can't wait for it. If wear your red to the Robins Center Saturday night, the girls are going to need you. This is going to be one of the best games we have left.
It is always, I think of this, you say wear your red. It's always tricky, Davidson, because I think they're red and black. Is that their colors? So
that is true. You could go just show up and make noise. I guess you don't have to wear red.
Or just
wear red to the VCU game.
Paint U of R on your chest. Porter likes doing that.
Yeah, not really. Okay.
Okay, so the men play at noon on Sunday. They've got St. Joe's. They host St. Joe's. If you haven't seen or kind of heard the story of St. Joe's over the last 4 months, like it's been a messy year for St. Joe's. Now they may be turning it around, but just some of these stories. So they had a coach, Billy Lang, who left right before the season started. He was not really loved by their fan base to begin with, from what I can read. But he abruptly left to join an NBA team as an assistant coach. Right before the season started, they promoted a newer assistant, although not a new coach, Phil Donahue, who had coached Penn, and I think was fired by Penn. And
Did he have a talk show back in the day?
Yeah, a different one. I think that's his name. But anyway, so they promoted him to head coach because he had that experience. I think they're very different styles, and the team had a lot to figure out. But they did have a great transfer.
Steve Donahue.
Steve Donahue. Okay.
Apologies to Phil and apologies to Steve. Don't be
I'm not sure
message
Phil
board
Donahue's
material.
alive anime, but Steve Donahue is. He's now the coach of St. Joe's. Anyway, so they have this great transfer, Deuce Jones III, he was the rookie of the year in the A10 last year on LaSalle, transferred to St. Joe's. He left the program after 10 games. He was averaging almost 16 points per game, was their best player. They were really kind of high on him. Obviously, he was A10 Rookie of the Year last year. We know that's not easy to do. They announced right before Christmas that he had left the program after missing a couple games for what they called personal reasons. It's really hard to figure out what happened. He actually, Deuce Jones III put out on Instagram a little I don't know sort of emoji. He hasn't gone anywhere else yet. There hasn't been a lot of talk. Supposedly it was some financial frustration. Anyway, I was looking into it and I saw this great quote. I loved it. It's by it was on internet, a website called The Black Cager. The author is Del Greco Wilson. Let me read you this quote. I love this one.
Man, we are going some deep, dark places for this. I love it.
In the end, the most advanced analytics, the most generous NIL packages, and the most impressive highlight reels are powerless without the ancient, indispensable ingredient of sport, a meaningful, trusting bond between player and coach.
Interesting.
Anyway, so where have they been since that? They've gone 1-2 in conference. They lost at St. Louis. They lost home against Davidson, and they just won a big overtime victory against Duquesne.
Yeah.
That was at home.
Got to give Steve credit, man. He inherited kind of like a tough situation, but they've actually played some really good teams close, and they've won some games this year. So,
but you have to remember, like, if you're looking at the beginning of their schedule, their best player was still there.
Yeah, that's true.
And he left. So Bardovic has them going 6-12 in conference right now.
Okay.
Their net is 238.
Okay.
Looking at some of the key statistical indicators for them.
206 in Ken Palm.
This is our Bardovic stats. 228 offensive efficiency. That's their ranking. 184 in defense. Mm-hmm. They're shooting 27% from three.
Okay.
And that's 360th in Bardovic.
It's not great.
365. Bardovic has us winning 81-69 with an 84% chance of winning. They do have some good players, so let's not underestimate them. They just did win a big, exciting overtime game where they had a last-second shot to tie it, and then won in overtime. They have a sophomore named Jaden Glover Toscano who transferred in from St. John's.
Okay.
He's a 6'6" guard. We tend to have trouble with those taller guards. He averages 16 a game. He shoots 39% from three. So while their team is really bad from three, like he's their highlight. He had 28 against Duquesne.
Wow.
Now that did go into overtime, so a little of benefit there. But he can score, and he is tall, 6'6" guard. Who's going to defend him is always a question when we have a tall guard like that. He'll be a challenge. Like if you wanted to say like how can St. Joe's win? Like if you want to be the optimist, if you're the St. Joe's fan, it's like, hey, it's been a couple weeks since their best player left. The coach has kind of rallied them together. He also had a new system they had to learn. And there's there's just the transition of getting into A10 play. They did come up with a win at home against Duquesne, so they're going to have more confidence than they had earlier. Now, I don't think St. Joe's is therefore going to be a great team in the A10, but I don't want you certainly can't overlook that program, historically a great program in the A10, and they're going through a lot of transition. It's been a bit of a mess, but
any concerns because it's a Sunday noon game? I mean, it's kind of a weird time for us to play a game.
I don't think so. I mean, obviously we've been on the road now for 2 games. So
nationally televised. I should get the students out, right?
Well, I'd hope so. Yeah, I mean,
are students back?
Yeah, I don't know. Actually, that's a good question. We'll find out soon enough. Whether they're back starting, I think they've got to be back by Monday, but you never know. Maybe it's a whole nother week. The other thing that's just we forgot all about, we record this a few day or so before it's released. Today is Elvis's birthday.
Really?
Yes,
the king.
91 years ago, I think. I don't know if there's always been that rumor that he was still alive, hiding somewhere. He's not part of this podcast. I can promise you that.
Thank you very much.
But yes, Elvis hasn't left the building yet.
Well, technically, he's left the building.
Yeah, he's left the building. But anyway, so it sounds like we got a good rating on the chocolate, Terry's chocolate.
I loved it.
Recommended.
It's actually really good, surprisingly good. I was like, wow.
And I think the serving size is 4 pieces, so we haven't even had a serving yet.
So had a full serving.
Maybe if we wrap this up, we'll have a serving. Anything else you want to chat about today?
No, just a great day for the ladies yesterday. Great day for the men yesterday. New York has been good to us. 4-0 against New York teams the last week. 2026 is good. Both teams are on the upswing right now. Now we're into the part of the schedule that is going to make the difference between seeding in the A10 tournament, between at-large chances for the ladies. So we need to keep it rolling. We need to keep moving in the right direction. So
maybe as we wrap this thing up, maybe we should just have a little less conversation.
A little less conversation.
And a little more basketball. So we got 2 home games this weekend. Hope to see you out there. Let's kind of pack the Robins Center.
Let's get it done, Spider fans.
We'll get our Falcon Smash going.
Make some noise.
So until next time, this is Tom.
And this is Porter.
And this is Spiders sounding off.
See ya. Funny and entertain. Maybe you'll learn something or just complain.